Take my hand and hold it.
I want to pile them up. See them. Make me happy.
Don't stop looking in my eyes. Are you cold? Do you want to sit down? I've been here a million times, so I know my way around. Don't stop looking at me now. I know you don't care as much as I do, but I'm just content with me next to you. Let's go to an art museum, I'll explain it at the coffee shop. I know you don't get it, but there's no need to fret it. It's like a gift, it's about the thought. Monet might be too much and Van Gogh might take a while, but thank you for coming. I know that you're trying to do anything to make me smile. I'll have a cup of tea while you have a latte for both you and me. The caffeine will make sure that you don't fall asleep, 'cause darling, you're sleepy, eyes are closing.
So I'm having a really creative day today where I've been art journaling. Yeah, and I only realised the other day that I'd not been art journaling for ages. And I wondered why. And I kind of thought, I don't really like the journal I've been using, the one I've bought. It's got a cartridge paper and it doesn't do very well with wet media and lots of layering and things that I really enjoy. And so I think that's one of the reasons that's just put me off doing it. And the other reason, I think, is that I'm really sort of involved and engrossed, if you like, in my other paintings. And so I have dipped back in today into the art journaling, and I'll grab what I've done. So just a little fairy, so very loose, no masterpiece. But yeah, just having a little play in my journal. All I had been doing in this journal is some of my flower power stuff. I just thought I fancy doing something a bit more art journaling, completely from my imagination, and yeah, bringing in some of the elements I've been using on my canvases, like the dark backgrounds, for example, and bringing in this little fairy queen. And she's a fairy queen of self-care that's encouraging me to keep shining my light and keep it bright, and a lot of things that I need to do perhaps that will help support my self-care a little bit better than I have been doing. Because I realised the other day, if I'm really, really honest, and I know I could be honest with you, I realised that I've not been doing that well with my work-life balance. And I have tried so many different things to help support my work-life balance, and I just have been failing miserably, basically. It's a little bit like trying to tidy up a room that needs thoroughly decluttering, if you know what I mean. Because every tweak I made, or when I juggled my schedule around a little bit, or even asking James to get involved and help with the editing and running the shop and things like that, which has made a difference. But even with all those changes I've made, my workload is enormous. And so I basically realised that something had to change, something had to give. So I'm going to downsize a few things, and I've already talked to my Patreons about all this as well, and they've been so supportive. Thank you so, so much. And in fact, encouraged me to do less in there. And so I've downsized a couple of things, and I've also made a couple of additions. And so, yeah, just juggled things around a little bit to make it work for me, because I want to be able to put videos up here and videos up in the Patreon, and also have that creative time just for me to paint as well. And yeah, the fairies have been telling me off, basically. So I need to be good and try and practice what I keep preaching on here, which is self-care. And we do a journaling prompt in the Patreon every month, and this month we're having a self-care month. So one of the things I'm doing in there is to list out some of the things I'm doing really well for my self-care, and then also list out some of the things that I'm not doing so well for my self-care and things that I can improve on. Yeah, there's quite a lot I could improve on. So yes, again, like I say many times in here, I am a work in progress, just like all of us, just doing my best in quite unusual circumstances at the moment, shall we say. Anyway, so I've been busy filming this morning with the art journaling pages, and yesterday I had a really busy day as well because I decided to have an art-free day yesterday and really try and get on top of my shop. All the originals I put in a couple of weeks ago, I think I put 13 originals in, they've all sold, and I can't believe it, so thank you so much. And also what I wanted to do for the shop is order a whole load of new prints, mini prints, and also I want to try some square prints. So I spent yesterday ordering some samples and things like that, and so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that they come back okay, and then I can just go ahead and order a load of stock for the shop. And I think there are at least 6 new designs, which are partly from my art journals and partly from my canvas squares. Obviously those are going to be the squares. Trying out these 2 as prints just to start me off with the squares and see how they turn out. So I'm quite excited to see them. And also another selection of other paintings that I've been doing recently that were finished. So yes, those are all done now, and I've still got some listings as it stands today to go in the shop for my originals, so I'll probably do those later when I get home from here. But I've basically, before I go home, I need to just tidy up this absolute mess that I've created through doing my my art journaling this morning. There is stuff absolutely everywhere. I'm not particularly clean myself, and yeah, need to get cleaned up. And I got to eat my blueberries too. Got bananas and blueberries. Do you want a blueberry? Okay, I'm doing it because I do not want to come into this tomorrow. It's just going to make me come in and then just want to walk out again. It'll be worth it. Come on, Wendy.
We got a brand new day. Good love is on the way, and if you take my hand, I'll walk with you to Georgia. Have you ever been in love? Dove in from high above, and if the answer's no, well then I'd like to get to know you. And though I know these lights.
So that is certainly a bit better on the worktop, my bench. And let's just see the floor. Oh, creaky floor, definitely. Yeah, I put my paints away, and I've got some piles of things as well. Collating my stencils and trying to put all my rubbish away. So yeah, getting there. And I've also got, hang on a sec, my brush is drying, which is key, and yeah, not super tidy, but good enough for me and a little bit more friendly to come back into. And at least now I can see my bits and bobs that I need to take home, because before everything was everywhere. So yeah, so I've also got this end. As you can see, all my canvas squared piled high. James thinks it's a bit precarious, and I think he might be right, so I might have to move them, but yeah, for now they make me really happy. I just feel like that scene in Gone with the Wind where she says, you know, as God is my witness, I'll never be hungry again. And I was like, yeah, I'll never run out of canvas squares again. And then yeah, the rest of my workspace is looking pretty nice. So I'm going to wash my mugs. Dirty coffee cups there. Yes, we had coffee. I think that's our 4th coffee since May. But yeah, I really wanted a coffee today. And so we had a little coffee. And then nothing more to report today from the Unexpected Studio. Oh, apart from one thing. So I managed to get in touch with Pages and Peaches. And so she has got her prize on its way. It was posted yesterday. James wrapped it up and packed up the 2 earth fairies for you. So thanks for getting in touch, because I really wanted to get that off to you. So I'm going to go and find James. I think he's doing some mods in the van. He's trying to attach the hookup lead that's going to allow us to charge at a campsite. So if we wanted to have hookup electricity, we could. So he's busy doing that, I think, outside. So I'll go and check out what he's doing as well. And then, yeah, got loads to do at home as well. So I'm going to scoot off now and clean myself up. Got loads of paint all over me again. Go and have a good scrub and then get the stuff in the shop. Get the stuff in the shop. There he is.
Hey, ma'am.
Hey, baber.
Hey, babes.
How are you getting on? Having fun?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, just tell us what you're doing.
So,
What the frick are you doing?
basically, I
Oh,
want
here we
to.
go.
This is our what do you call it? A mains inlet socket.
Yeah.
Hookup, in other words.
Almost up your nose there.
Okay. So this just this just means that we can go to a campsite and have electricity in the van for heat or light or charging things, whatever. So it extends our adventures basically. But I'm having to fit this externally, so my chosen position to fit it is under the van, under the driver's seat here. Anyway, so I'm making a metal plate that is making use of a couple of bolts that are already through the floor, and this will bolt on there like that. Just sort of going to attach to the chassis of the van to make it all rock solid, basically. So once I've done that, that's actually the hard part.
Right.
All I need to do then is wire it in, and then I'm just going to drill one hole in the floor of the van, bring the electric up into the van under the driver's seat here, and wire it in. So today has been a good day.
Oh, good. Didn't start out so good, but it's finishing good.
Yeah.
Nice job, Bubba Dubs. All right, I'll say goodbye then.
Yeah, I'll see you back at the ranch.
Absolutely, babe. See you later. Good luck. Is it good? This is the first curry I've made in years. So I'm just doing a little bit of admin this morning in the studio, and then I'm going to do a bit of painting, and then I'm going to go home and do a bit more admin. So I've kind of got a sandwich of admin today, and I've got some new originals that are going in the shop on Friday, I think. So probably by the time this video goes up, they will be up. And I just want to make sure I've got the measurements right and things like that for the listings. James is doing a bit more to the van, to the electrics, to the hookup thing. And yeah, we're getting really excited to take a proper trip, which fingers crossed will be next week. But I'm just pondering on that right now because there's a few things up in the air. I'll show you what I'm doing anyway with the originals. I've got 8 here, and I'll kind of do a mini shop update, I guess. So I'll just turn the camera around, hang on a sec. So here's my little pile of originals, all from my Flower Power project, these. And I've got 3 different ranges within that project. So I've got my Flowers in the Moonlight series and my Vintage Flower Powers series. And then this is from the Truly Madly Deeply series, bright colours. I don't know if you can see that, a bit bigger than the others. And then that's from the Flowers in the Moonlight, Truly Madly Deeply, and Vintage. So those are the ones I'm putting in the shop. And yeah, I just want to check that I've got the right measurements. I like to, on the ones, for example, with a border, so these ones, measure the paper, and then also measure the image. I also want to, in a sec, just grab something to show you. I've wanted to use a fixative to make sure that the layers are completely safe and stable. So for example, on this one, let's pop that there. For this one, I've got some watercolour on there, I've got some pencils, and I want to make sure that the watercolour's safe. So I wanted to find a really good fixative. And when I was looking at fixatives, I haven't used a fixative for years because basically, hang on a sec, I'll just turn the camera around. When I very first sort of went to university and college and things like that, I did use hairspray as a fixative for things like my charcoal drawings and things like that, which were just studies and I wasn't selling them, so it was absolutely fine. And the hairspray works very, very well, and it works great in my art journals as well. But now I'm selling more things, I wanted to make sure that the layers were stable and safe. And sometimes I use water-soluble things and things can be reactivated, so it's good to put a top coat on or a varnish or something like that. But then since those early days of going to art school, I've since become more ecologically aware, like most of us, and so I didn't want to have anything that harmed the environment. And all the fixatives out there, first of all, they're aerosols, most of them, and when you read a little bit more information about them, and it was every single one I found apart from this one, it says very harmful for aquatic life, long-term effects. So yeah, I didn't want to sort of be part of this harming the fishes, if you like. So I did some research, quite a few hours actually, and I ended up finding Degar fixative. And so I'll just show you what that is. This is not sponsored or affiliated or anything like that. It's just, I've had a little play with it and I'm recommending it as a more eco-friendly alternative. What I've done is I've sprayed a few thin layers and allowed plenty of hours between to let it dry. And then that way I've sort of tried to go with my finger as well on some of the other pieces that I wasn't so bothered about. So I've had a little play with it and basically I'm really happy with it. So I'd much rather spray something with a few layers and just give it that extra reassurance that nothing's going to shift and things like that with selling originals. I think it's important to think about archival qualities for originals and archival qualities for prints, what kind of paper you use and things like that. So all makes a difference, and the printing process obviously as well. So that's something that, yeah, I've looked into with James's help as well. Anyway, thought I would just mention that because I've had that a few weeks now and I keep forgetting to mention it. So I'm going to do a final layer of these, and again, even though it says it's odour free and toxic free, all natural, and it's not an aerosol, it's a little spray. So yeah, like that. I still spray it outside. And I'm just going to read through my descriptions for my listings for my Etsy shop, and yeah, check I've got each title correct and the sizes and things like that before I put them up. It's not my favourite job in the world, but yeah, it's part and parcel of having a shop, isn't it? And it's always exciting when you have new things going in and then new purchases as well, and then packing orders and things like that. It's always really fun. So I think I'm done for the day. I'm going to clean my brushes, water the plant babies, and then I'm going to go home. And yeah, I've just had a really, really lovely painting session. I've been working on this little one and it's still a bit wet. But yeah, first layers down on that one. And each little set has its own unique characteristics, and that's what I'm learning from the magic of the flowers, really. So obviously the natural world has a lot to teach us, and it's always so interesting and full of surprises, I find. And so from doing teeny tiny studies and pages in my sketchbooks and doing these canvas squares, which is my absolute favourite thing, I have to say, maybe a close second here working on my sketchbooks. But yeah, these three are definitely taking a new direction, and they're definitely in the Truly Madly Deeply series, and perhaps this one's going a bit more vintage, so I'm not really sure. 5 months I've been working on the Flower Powers, and it all came about really from painting a Paul Bethon painting as part of my Patreon projects. I was doing an Art Nouveau project at the time, and he had a painting with lilies and a portrait. And ever since then I've been art journaling flowers, painting flowers, and I did some canvas squares with the dark background, and then I wanted the light backgrounds and brighter colours. And so it's really evolved in that time, and yet I still feel I'm really, really early days in my Flower Power project. I think I can take this on for years to come. So it's really exciting. And I think as long as we're still excited by our projects, then keep going. And you've already seen the amount of canvas squares I've got to paint. So I'm definitely going to be at this a while. So try to keep your lights shining bright as you can, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Mwah.
Look at the paintings, I'll be your guide. Don't stop looking in my eyes.